All right, welcome to the last lecture of 2141. It's either that or everyone now, when they finished their assignment, they went back home to sleep because everyone's been doing an all-nighter. Thank God that's out of the way, isn't it? Shh. All right, so what I have planned for today's lecture, obviously we're not going to learn about any new material. We're done with all the materials for 2141. I wanted to summarize some of the stuff we've done and tell you what's going to be in the exam and show you the front page of the exam. Then talk about a couple of other things, and then we'll be off to our way. It's not going to be a very long lecture, but nevertheless it's quite an important one. Hopefully everyone submitted their assignments. I went through the submissions that I went through some of the submissions, and I flickered through some of the assignment reflections. It looks like everyone really enjoyed doing this assignment. So either you're all liars or you're just begging for good marks. But if you did enjoy the assignment, then I'm actually very proud, because then that means that you've learned something out of this, and if you enjoy doing this, and you might pursue a career in digital design, that will be very good. It's not over yet. We still have 2142 next semester. How do I shut you up? If I put that up there, will that? Oh, that seemed to have worked. All right. So final exam on the 18th on. So final exam unfortunately on a Saturday. I couldn't move it. I tried to move it. Saturday the 18th of June in the morning at the race course. I hope you all know where you're supposed to be then. So what's the exam format? I've posted the previous year's exams from 2009 and 2010. So the format for this year's exam is pretty much identical, obviously different questions. This is the front cover of the exam. So there's a few things I want to go through. Obviously, you know that it's a 3 hours exam. Just like previous years, there are going to be 5 questions, each one worth 20 marks. Answer all questions. Now, in each one of those questions, there are different parts to it. For every part, there'll be how many marks allocated to the mark, and that's the marking guide for the exam. One of the things I want to emphasize is this one. Write the question number attempted on the cover of each book. So you're going to have those exam booklets. You're going to get them. What I'm asking you, and I'm not just asking you, I'm telling you, to write every question you attempt, write the number of the question right here. Not here, here, yeah? Now, only 1 question per booklet, because those booklets are then distributed. We separate your booklets, and each question is being marked separately. That's why we ask for a question per booklet. And this will help us indicate what question you are actually attempted in this booklet. At the top, it's just numbers of booklets. They don't actually have to correspond to the question number. Answer one question per booklet. And don't forget to put the number there. And the reason why I'm saying it over and over again, because people tend to not do it no matter how much I ask. So please do this. Everything here is pretty much the same. Just like previous years, you may retain your paper. There won't be any pink sheets, so you can take this exam. Calculators, you bring your own calculators into the exam. I don't think, to be honest, this exam is very mathematical, so obviously bring a calculator because it might help you. You can do everything by head if you need to. Assumptions. The exam is written in such a way that it should be very, very clear what is required of you, and there should be, in theory, no ambiguities whatsoever. However, if you think that there is something that's not stated in the question, then write down explicitly what you assume it to be, and then answer the question that way. Obviously, don't assume things that contradict the question. I had people before saying, looking at this really complex question, and then just assume some huge simplification, and at the end it's A equals 1. Not quite. So don't contradict the question, but if something's ambiguous, just make an assumption, write it out. And write the exam in ink using pens, obviously. If you want to use pencils, it's only for diagrams and sketches and other stuff like that. So that's about the front page of the exam. Questions so far? No? Everyone's happy? So this is last year's exam. If you haven't looked at it, this is the format of the questions. So different parts, and then you get the marks. Now the questions in general are similar to tutorial questions. Obviously, in a bit of a bigger scope, each one of them. Each one is separated to parts. If you know how to do all the tutorial questions, there's no reason not to get a full 100 in this exam. Okay. What's examinable? Everything. Well, almost everything. So the stuff that may be in the exam, everything we've learned from week 1 to week 12, including everything except the guest lecture. Obviously, this was for your own interests. I won't ask you what Julian has told you. And material in the assignment. So NCL stuff, non-examinable. Okay, that was for the assignment. Hopefully you learned something out of it, but I won't ask you about this. Anything else, including everything else, may be in the exam. Consultation before the exam. So the exam is on Saturday, the 18th. On Thursday, the 16th of June, 2 days before the exam, we run an official consultation in G3, near the school office. We're going to start at 10 a.m. It's an optional thing. Whomever wants to come and have questions. Hopefully by then you would have pretty much studied the whole material and you might have questions. Bring them to the consultation. If you want to drop in and hear other people's questions, that's fine. It's going to be a fairly informal consultation. Just come in. I'm not going to stand there and introduce anything. I'm pretty much going to be there and answer your own questions. I will be there between 10 in the morning till 2, so 4 hours. Hopefully, usually people come straight at 10 and we run the whole session, but you can come midway through, up to you. That's about the final exam. Again, any questions before I move on to other stuff I want to talk about today?
Wait, so the computer design starts week 11 something?
Week 10, yeah.
That
Yeah.
Some questions that we could expect on that topic.
Computer design fundamentals? let's just say, no, I'm not going to put up questions. What I want you to understand from the computer design is the ideas behind this. I don't want you to memorize how a data path looks like. I want to ask you to draw a data path. If you've been to the lecture or if you watch the lecture videos, then it's the same as my ringtone. I panicked there for a second. If you watch the lecture, if you've been to a lecture, and you know what's the ideas behind the computer design, I think you should be all right. Probably won't be anything too specific. Let's leave it there. Other questions? Okay. All right, assignments. So now hopefully most of you submitted their assignments. What's going to happen now, I'm going to mark them, and then once they're all marked, I will release the marks out on Moodle, and you'll be able to collect your assignments from the school office, those who wish. I will put up announcements whenever they're ready. As for the labs, so we still have the catch-up labs this week. Hopefully you're not flooding the labs too much and getting everything marked. If you've already been to the labs, you know that this week the demonstrator pretty much mark you, they come up to you, they ask you a couple of questions, and they don't wait around because there are a lot of people wanting to get marked. Unfortunately, they can't offer too much help. We really are trying to get as many people marked as possible this week. So that's with the labs. With the marks for the labs, around probably Friday, once this week is over, I will release your final lab marks on Moodle. And this will be a mark out of 20, so this will be your lab component for this component. What I want you to do is to then go through your lab manual and add up your own marks as well, because obviously the demonstrators marked your marks there as well, and verify that the number that we have and the number that you have matched together. Sometimes it happens that lab demonstrators forget to record a mark, even though you got marked, and this is why we do it. We'll release the marks, verify that it's correct. If not, shoot me an email, and I'll probably get you to bring your lab manual just to check what's missing, and we'll correct it. That's not a problem. If the mark on Moodle for some reason tends to be higher than the mark you calculated, then you know the drill. Come and see me, and we'll fix it. As for the quizzes, there is a quiz this week. Yeah, don't forget the last quiz, quiz 10, running this week about the CMOS technology stuff. It will run until Monday as usual. Once that quiz finishes, I will summarize the marks from all the quizzes. I will hide all the quiz marks, and I will only put up the final mark that you get for the quiz component. That's just not to confuse you. That's why I'm not hiding it to hide things from you. So what you will see as of next week with the quiz marks is the final mark out of 10 that will be your quiz marks for this. So essentially, hopefully by next week, you'll have your quiz mark, your assignment mark, your lab marks, and all you've got left is to do the exam. Okay. So that's about marks and stuff. Questions so far? Okay. So the next thing I want to do is to do my little Oscar moment, the Academy Awards, and say thank you to the people who actually participated in this course. You've seen me most of the time, fortunately or unfortunately, but not sure if you know, a lot of people are actually involved in developing a course. I wasn't doing it all by myself, not at all. There's quite a few people who played an important role. There's Tara that's sitting in the back that not even looking. Hey Tara. who was administering this course, and she gave you the CMOS technology lecture. Obviously, your lab demonstrators did, I hope, a great job. Well, you tell me. But I know they worked really hard. I want to give a huge thank you to Gamini behind the camera there. If you help me, let's clap. Gamini's been coming here every lecture and sitting there helping us record the videos, done a wonderful job. I can't thank you enough, Gamini, for this. And the rest of the workshop people, Roy, who actually prepares the lab for you, Leo and Saeed that are involved in getting the components for you. A lot of people worked in building this course. And of course the school office people that have to put up with you when you enroll into those things. Now, while we're at it, you probably started getting emails from the UNSW system asking you to fill in feedback forms, what we call the KATE forms. I don't know how much you know. Those feedbacks, this is important. Those feedbacks are being taken very, very seriously. Anything that you fill in or that you write out, the corresponding lectures, but I can tell you, I can testify that I read every single comment and I take that into account. What I would like to ask you is, all of you, please fill in those KATE surveys, for better or for worse. If you really enjoy this course, then I'm happy. Please put it in writing so I can then go to the head of school and ask for more money. No. If you think something didn't quite go well, put it in writing so we can fix it. Don't forget, you're all, well, most of you will be doing 214 through next semester, and you'll have the same staff members, and whatever you put in there will directly affect your course next semester. Now, the kind of things that I really actually want you to write about are things like how useful were things like the lecture videos. Did you use them? Do you think we should continue with this? What did you think about the labs? Were they sufficient in terms of workload? Were they too stressful? What do you think about the marking guides? Anything we can improve with the labs? Same thing with the quizzes. Are online quizzes too much on a weekly basis? Or maybe you did see it as a helpful thing because it helped you keep going with the course. What do you think about the video help feature that we added halfway through the semester? Did you actually use it? So these are the things that I don't actually get during the semester because nobody says anything. But I'm really curious about these things. And this is why I would like to ask you, pretty much all of you, to go onto those surveys and fill them up. They will be available until the day before the exam. And this is a policy that the electrical engineering have came up with, that surveys have to finish before the final exams. You can access them through either through My UNSW or through the course webpage. Now what I've done, if you've seen it, in the course webpage, I've put in huge big letters how much percentage we're standing with the feedbacks. I am hoping for 80% participation, and each one of you can help us. Don't forget, by the way, these quizzes are completely anonymous. There's absolutely no way for me to know who wrote what, so you can go wild, again, for better or for worse. And to tell you the truth how these things work, I don't actually get to even see your comments or whatever you wrote until after the exams. So the system holds it back from me, and then once exams are finished, I get a PDF report with pretty much the comments one after the other. So don't be afraid to say whatever you think. I actually am very curious to know what you think about this. Okay, any other questions so far? Now, while we're on the topic of feedbacks, you guys usually keep quiet during the semester, but I was kind of hoping if people would come up with some suggestions now to how can we improve the course. I would like to have hopefully a bit of an open forum. Specifically, let's start with the labs. I know a lot of people are really frustrated with the way the lab marking is going. I hear a lot of, you know, the demonstrators take too long to get to me. I have to wait a very long time. I can tell you, I'll be completely honest, it's not going to get any better in 2142. Although I'm working on getting you more demonstrators, but we'll see how that goes. But anybody's got any ideas how we can improve the markings? And I'm dead serious. I've tried a few different things. There's the only other alternative is to get everyone to write lab reports, and yeah. And we don't want to read them as much as you don't want to write them. So. Yeah, ideas? Yeah?
No, not yet.
No ideas? Yeah?
You have to be clear exactly what was supposed to research before we go into the lab.
Okay. So,
Like a bulleted checklist at the front. Knows this in general terms.
okay.
Sometimes you'd ask stuff, and it would be, did you look this up online before you showed up? No.
Okay.
Like that.
Fair enough. With the labs, by the way, one of the things we wanted to do is to not, in a way, again, for better or for worse, not make the labs just easy marks. You show up, you get the marks. 20 marks is a lot of marks from a subject, and the idea is that you get some hands-on experience with the stuff you're going to do. The stuff similar to what you've done in the assignment. That was like a full-on project that you went on essentially by yourself. And I know a lot of people then had to debug their assignments by themselves and work with Xilinx by themselves. And that was the idea of the labs, to prepare you into this independent working with the software and, you know, later in the real world. So I don't quite want to make the labs as a step-by-step, you're holding your hand, here's some marks for you, go for it. That's why sometimes the demonstrators ask some questions beyond the scope to see who went and researched stuff. So that was the idea behind this. But I did get some comments about people saying, oh, they asked us things that, you know, we weren't supposed to know. I did take this into account, so thanks for this. Other suggestions? Not necessarily about the labs, by the way. Any thoughts about the quizzes? Good, bad? That's good, bad.
There's no back button. You can't skip a question.
Okay.
I really hated that.
So you skip and then come back to it, right? Not just skip and then... Yeah. With this one, again, it's not to punish you. It's actually a bit of a feature of the system. The system that we're using for the quiz is the adaptive learning, adaptive tutorials system. It's a system that was developed, or it still is being developed, in the School of Computer Science right here. The system itself is not actually originally meant for quizzes or for assessment. It's meant for tutorials where you work with the tutorials and you get feedback and then you sort of progress through it and you go along. And this is why, from their perspective, when they build a system, it doesn't make sense to go back because there's sort of a flow of work. I sort of adopted this system for the quizzes just because it was convenient and it did a lot of the things that I wanted to do. They are aware of, you know, going back to questions. It's a feature that's going to come. Unfortunately, not for quiz 10, but in the future. I don't know how much of a good news it is. For ELEC2142, there will be no quizzes. So you don't have to worry about it then. Okay, usually with the current mode of the quiz you... Okay, well I guess now it just tells you wrong and here's some explanation, but it doesn't tell you actually what's right. So you want the answers, okay. There's no problem with actually putting the correct answer in the feedback. Again, I was sort of aiming, okay, now that you've got it wrong, here's a bit of a hint. Go and, figure out what's right, rather than, here's the right answer, and then you go, oh yeah, and then you move on. Which is true. I mean, it's the same dilemma with, releasing tutorial solutions. Because a lot of people, if the solutions were released right there with the tutorials, you look at the tutorial questions, you look at the solutions, and you go, oh yeah, I understand what's going on, and I can solve that in real exam. Then comes the exam, and you have no idea what to do. And it happens. I mean, so this is why. But I didn't want not to release any solutions. So a bit of a compromise is to put a bit of a delay on the release of the solutions. Speaking of which, I don't know if you realize now with the final exams from previous years, there's now the solutions posted up. So you can go and read it. Oh, and there's an unread post in this assignment. Is it a bit late? All right, leave it at that. With the quizzes, who used the video help for the quizzes? I'm just curious. Okay. We're trying to, well, as I said, I do ask you to write your thoughts about it in the surveys, because one of the things we are trying to sort of push it more to ELEC, so more of these, you're right there? Yeah? Hopefully we sort of have this initiative to push it to more courses. If I can get feedback to saying this is an excellent feature, then we can do this. If not, then we won't bother. Other comments? All right. Now, as seeing this is the last week of session, and before exams start, I want to invite you to have some drinks with me and the staff of the course on Thursday. Thursday is 4 o'clock. I will put an announcement about it. We'll gather. Everybody heard about the UNSW White House? Yeah? So we'll go there. Apparently, so I've heard. Now I went to visit. It's a nice place. It's right next to the Fig Tree Theater behind the quad. It's a new bar that they opened here on campus. So if you don't know it yet, then go and check it out, or just come on Thursday. Thursday at 4 o'clock. I'll do some promotion for LSOC here. There's also a barbecue on Thursday between 2 and 4. Well done. So if you go to a barbecue, then you can just follow LSOC afterwards to the drinks in the White House. That's, I think, most of what I have for now. Before we go, anything else? No? No.
Hey Danny,
Yeah.
your Bluetooth is still on.
I don't even have the computer here.
Your iPhone.
Oh yeah, I know. But that's on. But you're not communicating with me. You know, the reason why it's on is I've got those Bluetooth headphones, and a couple of years ago we started doing some experiments with this localization system, sort of like a local GPS, and that uses the 2.4 gigahertz frequency. Now, we used to transmit in very, very strong power on campus here. And we turned it on and it just used to run for days. We actually jammed the uni-wide altogether. Hey, we tried to collaborate with them. We said we'll share frequency. They didn't collaborate, so we just turned up the power. No, but then whenever I used to come to campus with my Bluetooth headphones, they always used to fail, and I used to get so frustrated until I realized I'm jamming myself here. So turn off the system. Yeah. Any other comments except my Bluetooth? All right. So there's any sound? How do I get the sound? One second. Oh yeah.
Networks.
Yeah. So one of the things I'd like to do for the end of this lecture, we talked about feedbacks. There's this video from Singapore about this electrical engineering lecturer that had some feedbacks in his course. Have you done 2 ports networks yet? No? We'll get there. So I would like to end this lecture with this video, and after that we'll finish.
So before I do that, let me do a quick review of the topics that we covered last time, which is prime narrative.
Give it a couple of seconds, you'll start there.
Please return your forms. You can bring them towards the front, in the middle, somehow. Over this side, are there any forms? Any forms on this side? Anyone else who wants to give the forms? Anyone else who has to return the forms? Okay, if not, thank you. There's one there, sir. There's one. There's a couple at the back. Any more? Please let us know quickly. Okay, thank you, Serene and Millie. Okay, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for participating in this survey. Now, I told you that I'm going to entertain you, right? I'm a man of my words. So I'm going to entertain you with some funny comments that your seniors have been writing over the years, and these have become archives, and I'll take them with me to my grave. Now, allow me to read. Says sexy, handsome, erotic. Can you show me your chest here in order to compensate for your bald head? He says. You're supposed to write about my teaching. Another one says, I can't take my eyes off of your sexy body, babe. Didn't know I was sexy. This guy says, you are too attractive, girls concentrate on you rather than on what you teach. And somebody loves me. I wish I knew if it was a boy or a girl. I don't want this to look like. You make me horny, baby. Oh my God. When are you having it? Are we having a sex lesson or what? We're talking about circuits. How can I make you horny? Gee, very interesting. Says shave away mustache so students can concentrate better. So now the focus is on my mustache. This guy says he combs his mustache but not his hair. Where does that come from? Maybe he saw me doing it in the loo or something like that, I don't know. Now this is one of my all-time favorites. Somebody wrote a poem and it's very nice. No grass on the busy road, no hair on the clever head. Another person wrote a poem which is not as nice as that one, but still it's a good effort. Says, roses are red, violets are blue, the lesser your hair, the sexier you get. That's not rhyme very well, but still, it's a good effort, as I said. I cannot talk with my girlfriend in a lecture shit. How many of you are in that position? Quite a few. No, let's listen to this. Very detailed, it's just similar to me. Rattles on and on like a shotgun. Slow down. Actually, don't be disappointed that you're a bit bald, but you still can wear a wig provided it doesn't fall off. Anyway, still handsome, with or without hair, but anyway, I'm not interested. I'm not asking you if you're interested, am I? Gee. This one is very nice. Ease your leg off the accelerator. This one is nice. Do you use conditioner for your mustache? Is it at its maximum length, cos theta equal to 1? Oh dear. Fantastic. What a way to elevate power factor too. Wow. This is innovation. This is innovation at its best. Is your mustache the source of your knowledge? If it is, then please don't set so difficult questions because most of us don't have mustache. Wow. So interesting. I don't know what to write. Is there anything to improve? Oh yeah, how about making the exams optional? We can go on and on. We are losing precious time, but that's okay. Please slow down, dude. You're not driving a Ferrari in LT23. And this one, obviously a jealous boyfriend saying, gals still love balding guys. Now this person, obviously after listening to my comments, he says, since everybody calls you babe, I'll call you sweetheart. Well, good teaching, sweetheart. More and more. Let's just call it off with just a couple more. Attending your lectures is like watching Indian Die Hard, Indian Bruce Willis. The world is peaceful when you stop talking. More and more on the head and the mustache and whatever else. Did you polish your head so shiny? Well, what more? I think we better stop. Maybe the last one here, talk like an M16 set to automatic. Please switch to semi-automatic. Okay, we are going to cut it short because we have to cover a lot of ground. So this is what you write for my teaching. Very interesting. I wish we had more time. There's many that are sitting in my office like that, and I don't feel like throwing them because they're so interesting. Yeah? Okay, where were we? You have to come back now. Come back. You have to change your mood suddenly. Okay, we were talking about two-port networks.
So that's it. Be kind in your comments. As I said, please do fill them up. Go and do your exam, excel it, make me proud, and I'll see you next session with 2142. Thank you.